All I want to do is a couple burnouts for a video. Is that so much to ask? What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the Car Passion channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace your clutch master cylinder. And how you determine your clutch master is bad is if you have a problem with your clutch where you put your pedal to the floor but the clutch is not disengaging and you're not losing any fluid. Typically, if it's a problem with the slave cylinder or a leaking line, you're going to have leaking clutch fluid. But if you're not losing any fluid and you're still having a problem with your clutch actuating, it could be the master cylinder. What happens is the fluid leaks backwards past the seals and it won't actually leak out. It just goes back up into the reservoir or something and your clutch doesn't work right. So that's what happened with Broken Boosted, and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace it. Your clutch master cylinder is located right here on the driver's side of the engine bay. And if you have anything in the way like I do, my wideband cable, my pod filter, you're going to have to move all that stuff out of the way to get access to the clutch master. Once you have clear access to your clutch master cylinder, go ahead and put a rag underneath it. That's going to catch hydraulic fluid when you disconnect the hardline. It's best to use a flare nut wrench like this, but a regular 10mm open-end wrench will work just fine. The fitting is pretty soft, so use caution when you're loosening it. Once the fitting is loose, you can just pop it out of the master and set it aside like that. Next, you're going to remove the two 12mm nuts that hold the master to the firewall, one up on the top there, and then one just opposite down below. It can be accessed with a simple ratchet and socket setup. Once everything's loose, you can just pull the master right off of the firewall. Some people say you have to bench bleed these before you put them in. I do kind of like to do a quick version of that just fills the cylinder up with fluid. I just fill it maybe about to the minimum line. Hold the rag underneath. Put your thumb over the actual port here. And when you push the Phillips head screwdriver in, it'll let some air out of the port you're holding your hand on. Stick your thumb on it pretty good to make a seal, and then when you let it go, it'll suck fluid into the cylinder. After you did that a couple times and fluid starts to come out of the port, you're ready to put this into the car. There we go, we got some fluid coming out. Now just slide the new master right over the studs. And I just like to get the nuts started by hand and then go ahead and get the hard line threaded in. Make sure you're not cross-threading it. It can be a little bit tricky to get it in the right position, but the threads should go in really smooth. If you're having to fight it, it's probably not going in straight. Once everything's tightened down, it'll look just like it did when you took the old one off, and you are ready to bleed the clutch. To bleed the clutch, start by filling the reservoir all the way up, and you can just use .3 brake fluid for that, and you'll need to find yourself a helper for the bleeding process. I'm going to jack up the front passenger side of the car and remove the wheel. And right in there, bolted to the transmission, is the slave cylinder. You can see on the left where the hard line comes in, and on the right is the bleeding port. What I like to do is put a vacuum line on that bleeding port and zip tie it, and then run it into a clear bottle. Before I put the line into the bottle, I actually put in a little bit of brake fluid. Just enough so that the end of the line is submerged and I'll be able to tell when air is coming out versus fluid. So the clutch bleeding process is really simple. First thing you do is open the bleeder, then tell your helper to depress the clutch pedal, and then close the bleeder and have your helper release the clutch pedal. And you'll just repeat that several times until no more air or dirty fluid is coming out of the slave. Down.
Down.
Up.
Up.
Down. Up. Alright guys, well that's how you replace your clutch master cylinder. Hopefully some of you found that video helpful. Let me know down below in the comments. If so, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Much more Miata content coming your guys' way. I'll see you in the next one. Much more Miata content coming your coming your guys. No! What am I saying?